welcome everybody to episode number 21. Wow, episode 21 of Can We Make Impact Wrestling the number one promotion in Total Extreme Wrestling 2013. My name is the Mayor, Jason Smith. Welcome aboard. Broadcasting live on my personal Facebook page, on YouTube, on Twitch, on Kayfabe Controversy Facebook page as well, where we have done podcasts in the past. It's sort of become the de facto home of this particular portion of my gaming channel, highlighting Total Extreme Wrestling 2013. Also in this episode, we're going to talk about the 2005 TNA pay-per-view Turning Point. It was the final pay-per-view of the year 2005. The Dudleys were on the poster for the show. 9 matches in total. The NWA World Heavyweight Championship on the line. The X Division Championship on the line. There was a barbed wire massacre event in this one. Christian Cage would make his in-ring pay-per-view debut for Impact Wrestling. No tag team championship match on this one. You also had appearances by Alex Shelley, Austin Aries. You had appearances by Chris K, who was in WWE and WCW as Canyon, Chris Canyon. You had R-Truth, you had Road Dogg, Billy Gunn, Conan, AJ Pierzynski of MLB fame was on this pay-per-view as well, along with Chris Sabin and Dale Torborg, who Dale Torborg is actually the son of one of the Chicago White Sox managers at the time, Jeff Torborg, so that's why they got AJ Pierzynski involved. You also had Gail Kim in there as well. So we'll talk about the pay-per-view as a whole as we go through. Again, I don't have buy rates for Turning Point. I don't think I have the buy rate for Turning Point. No, I do not. So, but all in all, not a terrible pay-per-view. Kind of right in that middle where most of the pay-per-views were for Impact at this time. Like a 6 to 8 out of 10 range if you're doing scale. And so we'll go over all of that here momentarily as we continue to talk about Impact Wrestling and our in-game situation as well. In-game, we have 4 episodes of TV left before our TV deal runs out. So we're going to need to engage in a new TV deal and work on that. So we'll get moving on that right now, actually. And if we look at our TV shows, we have just the one with Impact Wrestling. We are on Thursdays. The costs are 100% to us, 90% to the network on the revenue split. So that's for our Spike broadcast. Our Fight broadcast is the same. And 100% revenue to the network, 100% of the cost goes to us on Pop TV. So basically where we're at with this is we're footing the bill, and we're getting very little of the revenue as we continue to improve Impact. And you can see with the ratings, our ratings have consistently gone up over the last 10 shows, which is about 2.5 months worth of shows. So since you go back to mid-August, you've seen the ratings steadily increase. It's been a long day. I'm having trouble talking. But so we've got a lot of different options here for TV carriers. I want to have coverage in the United States. Ideally, I want to go somewhere where I can get broadcast on in the U.S. and Canada if I can get away with it. with one of our broadcast partners here. Hopefully, we can meet the minimum requirements of the network. ESPN would be a good one. The prestige isn't exactly where we'd like it to be. We've been on FS1 before. Their prestige is a little on the low side, but you look at where we are with Pop TV, and it's not good. So, I mean, I don't know why ESPN's prestige is a D minus. Maybe when it comes to wrestling, it's a D minus. So, something to keep in mind there. We want to stay away from local. MAV TV, we're kind of in that same ballpark. Same with MTV. Spike would be a good one if we could get over to Spike in the US and in the UK. That would actually be pretty good if we can get Impact Wrestling back on Spike TV. TBS is another option for us. TNT, the CW is another one. I never thought I'd hear myself say that. So I think we're going to start with the biggest of the two between Spike TV and TBS, and that is TBS. And we want to expand the show, Impact Wrestling, to TBS. But it doesn't start until, officially start until November. So we're going to move forward, keeping in mind that we still also need to negotiate with Fight Network. And that airs in the United States as well, so we'll keep an eye on that. Spike UK, I like the direction we're headed there, so we'll be looking to extend that contract. So we'll go ahead and advance the day. We'll talk about the card here for Turning Point 2005. One dark match on the card. You had a 6-man tag team match, 3 teams of 2. You had the Naturals taking on, it was 3-on-3. So the Naturals and Lance Hoyt defeated Buck Quartermain, John Bolin, and Joe Doring, who were making their Impact pay-per-view, quote-unquote, debuts for the promotion. First match on the card, Barbed Wire Massacre match with Sabu versus Abyss. Barbed Wire Massacre, basically the ropes are made out of barbed wire. Pinfall or submission, the only way to go. 10-minute match between these two. Abyss did what Abyss does. Sabu did what Sabu does. There was Sabu stabbing Abyss with whatever it is that he had in his tights. The barbed wire came into play quite a bit. There was a barbed wire covered board. And Abyss ended up picking up the win over Sabu in that first match. Next up was Austin Aries and Matt Bentley against Alex Shelley and Roderick Strong. Quick little 10-minute match. Matt Bentley is Shawn Michaels' cousin and was accompanied to the ring by Tracy. And Bentley picked up the win after hitting Alex Shelley with a super kick. Next up on the card, and then we'll get back to our game here, Raven taking on Chris Candido. So again, Larry Zbyszko came out and tried to get Raven to sign his release. He refused. And another match happened where Zbyszko threatened to put Raven through hell. And Chris Candido was that next opponent. Interesting storyline here as a way to sort of introduce some of those WCW and ECW talent to the TNA roster that had jumped on board with this whole storyline with Raven and Larry Zbyszko. Pretty interesting stuff. Quick match, though. Raven got the win in about 6 minutes or so. Alright, so taking a look at what we got going on here. New Japan made an offer to this guy. Bob Backlund officially retired. CJ Banks is on the come up. He is with 5 Star and doing his thing as a mid-carder there. Afa Anoa'i Jr. signs with OVW. Brooke Adams heads to Ring of Honor. 5-star starting to do some expansion with Captain Rooney and Josh Faulkner. Now, these are guys that are exclusive to the 5-star brand. They're not ours that we've sent down for developmental. And then Bhupinder Singh has signed with PWG. Viper also going to OVW. We've got another complaint from Jake Christ, as we always do, because he complains all the time about wanting to be retired. So, moving on to the next day. And we continue to talk about Turning Point 2005. The Team of 3 live crew with BG James, Kip James, or Ron Killings, and Conan became 4 live crew as they added BG James. So now, or Kip James. So now you have BG James, the Road Dogg, Kip James, Billy Gunn, Conan, and Ron Killings, R-Truth. They had their little stable of 4 live crew, and they would take on Team Canada in this match. And the next match, Scott Demore was at ringside. 8 minutes. It was supposed to be a traditional 4-on-4 match, but a couple of weapons were used, and Conan turned on the crew, and ended up helping Team Canada pick up the win, with Conan turning on everybody, knocking them all out with chairs. Next up, you had a 6-man tag match that TNA promoted as Base Brawl, because it was Chris Sabin, Sanjay Dutt, and Dale Torborg, as we mentioned, who was the son of Jeff Torborg, who is a Major League Baseball coach. They took on the Diamonds in the Rough, David Young, Elix Skipper, and Simon Diamond. Also, AJ Pierzynski was at ringside for the team of Sabin Dutt and Torborg. Near the end of the match, Pierzynski got involved, and I think Johnny Damon was involved in this as well. Dutt ended up getting the pin for his team and picking up the win. And we'll go ahead and talk about our in-game activity here. It's the news is flying. Trevor Lee gets an extension to stay with WWE. NXT also picked up Scott Cardinal, and no idea where he was before this. Let's see here. No, it doesn't say. Okay, must have been unemployed. Alright, we also had Ring of Honor TV last night, ASW, All Japan, AAA, Wrestle 1. Daisuke Sekimoto is looking to stay with BJW. Emi Sakura likely to stay with Arena. We also had AEW, and Tyson Dukes picks up the Smash Heavyweight Championship title. And one more day, and we'll be into November, and we can start with our negotiations on TV. Meanwhile, back at Turning Point 05, Christian Cage and Monty Brown would go head-to-head for the number 1 contender for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. If you remember, at the last pay-per-view, Monty Brown became the number 1 contender for the championship, but then Christian Cage showed up. So Cage got the turnbuckle exposed, I think, and then ran Monty Brown into it, then did the unprettier, and picked up the win to become the new number 1 contender for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship match. Next up was the pay-per-view debut of Team 3D, Devon and Brother Ray, the Dudleys, taking on America's Most Wanted in a tag team elimination tables match. So, similar to the traditional elimination tables matches that WWE did for a long time, you have to put both members of a team through the table in order to win. Lance Storm was eliminated first, and then Chris Harris was eliminated with the 3D. Then we had 2 matches left, the TNA X Division Championship between AJ Styles and Samoa Joe, and the NWA World Heavyweight Championship between Jeff Jarrett and Rhino, which we will talk about here momentarily. We've got emails to talk about as well. Gursinder Singh headed to Ring of Honor, good for him. Glad to see he caught on somewhere. Daisuke Sekimoto got his extension. Rina end their tour, and I kind of want to check in on them. Yeah, they're doing fine. They were on the brink there for a minute. Britt Baker is a hot property name, and she is with AEW on a pay-per appearance deal. She is also a main eventer with Shimmer, and I honestly kind of want to see if I can't steal her away. Britt Baker, the Doctor, is pretty talented, actually. She's dating Angelico in game, and yeah, she's willing to listen to an offer from us. So we'll take a peek. We'll give her 2 years and see if she wants to ink that deal. It'll be exclusive to us. We've also got BJW ending their tour. 0-1 finished a show, and you've got let's see what else. Martin Kirby looks like his deal is up, and Dragon Gate held a show on their tour. Okay, so here at week 1, November 2019, Rina has made a contract offer to Casey Spinelli, who is the unnamed maid of honor. Honestly, I could see her walk. It's not going to hurt my feelings. Su Yung, though, I kind of want to hold on to. I'd like to keep her exclusive if possible. We'll see what she has to say about that, and the TV networks are scheduling. So now we can take a look at our TV carriers, and we want to talk to TBS about possibly jumping ship in the United States and heading over there. So we want to expand the show and talk to TBS. So we're limited to one expansion per turn, that meaning or per session, meaning that we can extend as many contracts as we want, but if we are going to expand the show to a different network or get a new show going, we can only do one of those every time the network's schedule, which is once a quarter. So we'll see if we can get TBS to jump on board with us, and hopefully we can get them to sign off, as we've got 3 days to our next TV taping, but we've got 4 episodes left, so we're in good shape there. So we'll just keep an eye on that. Hopefully they say yes. I mean, I'm okay with extending to Pop and Fight TV if we need to, but I'd rather be in front of more faces and continue to increase our popularity as time goes on. As I mentioned, 2 matches left. X Division Championship, AJ Styles against Samoa Joe. AJ got split open in the mouth during this match. These two are very quickly becoming the face, or faces if you will, of Impact Wrestling. And the X Division really was the premier division in Impact at this time. The main event picture was okay, I guess. You had Jeff Jarrett, you had Christian Cage, you had Monty Brown, but that was about it, really. I mean, every once in a while you get AJ sneaking up there, you get Abyss, Rhino, Raven, but there wasn't really that consistent main event talent to go with Jeff Jarrett. So it would just kind of cycle through these 4 or 5 guys. But then the X Division started to explode, and Samoa Joe and Christopher Daniels and all these guys started to come up and really kind of or cast a shadow, I should say, on the main event picture. But in this match, at least, about 20 minutes into the match, Joe locked in the Coquina Clutch. AJ was done for. Christopher Daniels would come down after the match and attack Joe and AJ and everybody. And so TNA X Division champion now, Samoa Joe, and he was going to look like the picture was set for him to take on Christopher Daniels. All right, so lots to get to here. It looks like a lot of signings. Gursinder Singh heads to Lucha Underground as well. A couple of people looking like they're going to be free agents here soon. A couple of shows. You had the main event. Josh Prohibition set to sign with AIW, Goto to sign with New Japan most likely, Dragon Gate continuing to do their thing, ASW California All-Star Wrestling, they are circling the drain and not doing well. Oh, All-Star Wrestling Canada. Sorry. So they've agreed to do a possible takeover with us. Now, we'll take a look at their roster here. Probably nobody I'm excited about. Michael Elgin, maybe. Jimmy Corderas, possibly. They are deep in debt. $220,000. Holy cow. But I think we'll just turn them into a development territory. We'll keep them open. Actually, I kind of want to just pillage them. But paying $220,000 for Mike Elgin and Jimmy Corderas, a couple of titles, and some events I'm not going to use isn't my idea of a good time. But I would happily pay $220,000 to keep them as a development territory. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So ASW Canada has become our new development territory. Shane McMahon is a free agent. Colt Cabana could be on his way to being a free agent. I almost kind of want to pick him up a little bit. Still no word back from TBS on whether or not they are interested in signing us. Also waiting on Sue Young and Britt Baker. Alright, next up. Next day. So our final match on the card for Turning Point 2005 was the NWA World Heavyweight Championship between Jeff Jarrett, the champion, against Rhino. 18-minute match. Weapons all through, even though technically it was standard singles match, one fall, no gimmicks, but they brought everything and then some out. They got on the scaffolding, they used chairs, they went through tables. Team Canada interfered. And then there was a bunch of steel chairs in the ring. Jarrett used his finisher, and the stroke is what he called it, but really it's a skull-crushing finale. And then after the match, Jarrett retained the championship. Lights went out. Sting shows up, and Sting becomes another main event player for Impact Wrestling. And he would get set to make his debut at the Final Resolution pay-per-view, his pay-per-view debut at Final Resolution. But this got a lot of attention for Impact, this pay-per-view. They were on ESPN because of the AJ Pierzynski thing and getting that sort of national attention. You also had the attention of Sting now turning to Impact Wrestling. And so now you had yet another main event player going on. Conan would leave 3 Live Crew or 4 Live Crew, whatever you want to call it. The James Gang tag team would be formed out of this sort of separation. LAX would come out of this as well with Conan, Homicide, and Apollo. And Ron Killings would kind of go on and do his own thing solo. The next pay-per-view would be January of 2006. Chris Daniels and Samoa Joe on the cover, live from the Impact Zone in Orlando, January 15th, 2006. And we'll talk about that in the next episode because we've got plenty to get to here. And looks like Colt Cabana got his contract extension. Good for him. Still nothing happening. Our TV taping is tomorrow night. I can't believe Earl Hebner's 70 years old. Dude was old when I was a kid. I love you, Earl. continuing through. While we're waiting for the game to catch up to us, I want to thank Restream.io for allowing us to stream on a million different platforms. We are streaming live on my Facebook page, on Twitch, on Kayfabe Controversy on Facebook, and on YouTube. So make sure you follow, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. We have unread emails and a decision awaiting our response. So we'll take a look at our news real quick. Nothing much happened. Teddy Long, holla 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 playa, has retired. Our decision is in the form of Britt Baker. So 7 days from now, she will join the crew. We're still waiting on TBS. We're still waiting on Sue Young. All-Star Wrestling Canada has made an offer to Crazy Steve, who's no longer on our roster, but could be headed to our developmental territory. All right, and we'll head to TV. So in this TV taping, we are at the Alex G. Spanos Center, wherever the hell that is. Alex G. Spanos Center. Let's find out. It is in Stockton, California, on the campus of the University of the Pacific. Yeah, so another small college venue for us. They seem to be working out for us, though, because we've been killing it these last couple of shows. And we're going to continue that trend right now as we will get our universe set up here. Kofi Kingston needs himself a new opponent. And as of right now, I have no intention of using the Grand Champion or the X Division Champion as an opponent for him. And he's already beaten Jake Hager. He's beaten Johnny Impact. He's beaten Sami Callihan. That leaves us with Rich Swann, TJ Perkins, and Will Ospreay. And I like the idea of TJP getting a little bit of love here in this contest, in this this push, I guess we'll say. So we'll set it up, even though TJP technically lost the Grand Championship Finals tournament. We're going to give him the shine since Eddie Edwards has no interest in going after that title at the moment. So we'll give him the next best thing, and we will get TJP involved in this storyline. I do want to have Eddie Edwards defend his Grand Championship against someone. And I think that someone is going to be Jay White, as he continues to get pushed up the card and look very, very good. And I want to make sure it's open and we keep Jay White strong as he continues to get a push. We will put the Grand Championship on the line and make sure that Eddie defends it here. We'll see how this match goes in terms of the rating and how well they wrestle against each other, with each other, if they can click chemistry-wise. Then, if that works, we'll throw it on the pay-per-view and we'll just keep the storyline moving until we get there. Same with Kofi and TJ. If it doesn't click, then it's not worth putting on the pay-per-view. So our tag team champions, the Coffee Brothers, somehow managed to get their titles back, and then the Briscoes won them back. So the Briscoes will be involved, and I think we'll cycle back around to Lucha Brothers and get them involved here. Whoops. There we go. And we will have them work the crowd. I think we'll have them kick off the show, as a matter of fact. Non-title match. Alright. And we'll see what we got going on. For Mr. Skrull here as the X Division champion. I'd like to see him take on somebody who's got some skill in the ring, like a Jake Hager, a technician, if you will, and have these guys go toe to toe for that X Division Championship. We'll see how this works out, and hopefully this match, I really want this match to click, because if I can get Jake Hager and Marty Scurll at a pay-per-view, I think we're going to be in pretty good shape. And Kairi Sane, who has been a world beater pretty much since she won that title back from Tessa Blanchard, has been just running ragged through the roster here. We'll give Ivelisse, I don't think she's already beaten Ivelisse once. So we'll go back to the drawing board on that one. We'll go to Rosemary, who I don't think she's faced one-on-one yet. She is not. Plus, Rosemary hasn't been on TV in a while, so we'll go Knockouts Championship, and nope, keep it open, and make sure that Kairi wins, and it's decisive. Okay. Alright, so we've got 45 minutes left, and a handful of our top of card guys that need to be booked. We'll plug them in here. Bully Ray needs an opponent. Let's slip down to the mid card here and see. Let's see what he does against TK O'Ryan. I'm not 100% confident that I want to keep TK around. I got rid of Vinny Marseglia, and we got rid of Matt Taven just because it wasn't quite working out the way I had hoped, and their push on the card just wasn't really where I needed it to be. So we'll have this be an open match. We'll make sure TK looks good. Don't really care who wins, but this match here, I think heading toward the pay-per-view, the November pay-per-view, is going to be crucial to whether or not TK O'Ryan sticks around. Alex Shelley going to be next up, and I think we'll put him with Will Ospreay. They've never gone one-on-one before, so this could be a barn burner here. Alex Shelley, you go back and you watch the old Impact stuff on ImpactPlus.tv, shameless plug there, but you go back and you watch that old stuff, and Alex Shelley is, I mean, I've always been a fan of Alex's, but I forgot just how good he was from a young age, and how great his work in Impact Wrestling in 2005 was. It was phenomenal. Alright, we've got 20 minutes left. Got a handful of talent left to utilize here. We've got 6 guys left, 20 minutes. So we're going to form... Well, no, we're going to do a one-on-one match. No, Eli Drake and Jay Lethal. I feel like Jay just hasn't really gotten his footing, and I feel like I haven't quite used him correctly, and that's going to be on me. That has nothing to do with Jay Lethal and his talent level. That's on me not really taking the time to give Jay Lethal a rub that he deserves, or a push that he deserves, whatever you want to classify it as. And last but not least, we will fill out the rest of the card with the Fatal 4-Way. Johnny Impact, Rich Swann, Sami Callihan, and Shawn Spears. And these guys have never squared off in this capacity before, so we'll give them 10 minutes to go all out in a decisive match. Alright, so we've got our 125 minutes, and we'll go ahead and get this thing rolling here. Great match to start off the show. A B rating for the Lucha Brothers and the Briscoes, and so that one likely will be our pay-per-view matchup. Next up, Bully Ray TK Orion, not that great. A little disappointed in TK's work. Johnny Impact, Rich Swann, Sami Callihan, Shawn Spears did fairly well. C+ rating. Sami Callihan picks up a win there. C+ for Kairi Hojo and Rosemary. I don't know if we'll put that on the card or not. We'll keep shopping for an opponent for her. Eli Drake and Jay Lethal were fantastic in this one. Alex Shelley and Will Ospreay were pretty good as well. Eddie Edwards and Jay White, not terrible. So we'll keep an eye on that as well for that Impact Grand Championship. We'll continue to shop, but we got a radar. Marty's Girl beats Jake Hager, gets a C+ rating, so not too terrible. Looks like Jake needs to bust up some of that stamina. Couldn't go 18 minutes with Marty. And last but not least, Kofi and TJP, good chemistry, lifted the match. We've got our one of our main events for our November pay-per-view, Kofi Kingston TJP for the Impact World Heavyweight Championship. B- rating. That gives us a B-, increasing our popularity in 21 regions. Good shape there. Now let's see if we can continue this good work and get a rating on Pop TV at or above the 2 that we got So we'll continue. There we go. So we have already emails and a decision. All right. Scotty O'Shea doing his thing. Dewey Donovan was fired. Famous B. Looks like he's going to go back to Lucha Underground. Good for him. Impact Wrestling. Great show. 5696 at the Alex G. Spano Center. I want to know what their capacity is. 6150. So pretty close to a sellout there. Not bad. Amazing Kong has left OVW. Sami Zayn did a promo. Alright, let's see here. Su Yung has agreed to come back for a year exclusive. So we're just waiting on TBS now. And we were way up on Fight Network. Holy cow. Up to a .84. We are over a 1 rating on UK's Spike channel. That's awesome as well. And way, way up on Pop, up to a 2.49. We nearly had a 25% increase in ratings from last week to this week. That is fantastic news, and that should hopefully land us a deal with TBS. So we'll check in on that in tomorrow's episode number 22. That's going to do it for me. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. My name is the Mayor Jason Smith. We'll see you next time. Be excellent to each other.